So I've seen it time and time again that a movement starts, it starts to get momentum, pick up popularity, and folks hijack that movement and inject their narratives and ideology into it, and thereby render the whole thing impotent with their toxicity. It happened with Occupy Wall Street and the social justice warriors, and it happened with atheism and feminism. And usually there's some defining moment, one where you actually just look at the whole thing and realize this movement is dead. You show anyone who's not immersed in this community, in that bubble, and ask them what they think about it, and they'll just say it's completely crazy. Now, for atheism and feminism, that movement came for me when one of the most respected atheist conventions of the time, and what do they spend their time doing? And I kid you not, making angry vaginas. And that's the point where you step back and you simply have to be honest that a group that spends its time making angry vaginas is never going to achieve anything of worth. Now, with each of these trends, I've just sat here in the middle, unmoved by all this populist bullshit, because I'm an old guy. I've been around. I've seen it again and again. It's not so much that Grandpa's not hip enough to get with it. It's just that I've seen it all before. Now, for me and the anti-social justice warrior movement in the skeptic community, it all started off well. Hell, I should know. I was one of the first people there. However, as time's gone on and it's got more popular, people have started progressively trying to inject more of their ideologies and narratives into the anti-social justice warrior movement. You know, like if you're anti-Trump, then you must be pro-social justice warrior. Like there couldn't be anyone who would ever think that President Game Show host was going to be a bad idea, who also thought that social justice warriors were talentless vermin. Yeah, it's true. People judge people by their actions and the people that they associate with. And before people start bleating, logical fallacy, guilt by association. Sorry, but that's how the human mind and humans work. It's so ingrained in our nature, we even have a saying for it. Birds of a feather flock together. And there's a good statistical grounds for beliefs like that. Just like if you want to go for, I don't believe in any logical fallacies, and say for instance you get sick, and you say to yourself, yeah, but to go to a doctor would simply be an appeal to authority fallacy. Yeah, you're not going to live as long as someone who goes to see a doctor. So, with the birds of a feather flock together, if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, people have a reasonable expectation that it's a duck. So, for instance, if, like me, you are widely associated with the Sarkeesian effect, but you really don't want anything to do with the disaster that it became, yeah, it kind of falls on you to distance yourself from it. Now, sure, this is a judgment call, and Munchkins will try to use this device to ransom you into denying things, to controlling what you're saying. Like the peons who decided to write to my employer calling me a Nazi, and then getting all indignant saying, yeah, but he never came out and said that he wasn't a Nazi. Yeah, that's because no reasonable person ever thought I was one to begin with. And all you're really trying to do is to get me to say, yeah, I'm not a Nazi. So you can simply come out and say, well, that sounds like denial. Otherwise, why would you have to say it? Cool. So with atheism, there was this angry vagina moment for me. And now I've hit a similar point with the skeptical community here on YouTube. You see, there was this guy called the Skeptical Feminist, and he was the president of the Western Colorado Atheists and Freethinkers, who, by all accounts, got high on mushrooms, got paranoid, and thought that one of the girls who he lived with was trying to kill him. So he shot her, and she died of her wounds in the car lot later. The guy who did the shooting himself was, by all accounts, a jerk. A hardcore jerk.
Had the life of her children threatened in a credible way. Are you in favor of death threats to motherfucking children? Hey, fuckface. Come at me, bro. Come on. Come on. How about you step up and you threaten a fucking adult, you worthless, squirmy, coward piece of shit. Come the fuck at me.
But there's nothing to suggest that him being a feminist had anything more to do with this than him being the president of an atheist society. This was about a guy having a psychotic episode with a gun. To pin this act on feminism makes no more sense than trying to pin the Elliot Rodgers shooting as an act of misogyny. Because while Elliot Rodgers' rant before his shooting spree was a pretty good description of misogyny, it's clear that the guy had a lot of psychological issues. Again, not really someone who you want to have access to guns. Now, you might think that saying having a law that says people who are psychologically unstable should not have access to guns would be a contentious issue, but apparently not.
It shines a large spotlight on the issues involving PTSD and drug usage. Many people out there have already heard argue that this is another thing that could have been prevented if Alexander didn't have a gun. Well, would it have been?
Look, Second Amendment away, guys. I've got no real problem with that. But if you're Second Amendmenting to the point where you're saying that even crazy people should have the right to own guns, then you've left the path of wisdom. Look, let me make this simple for you. If you have to face a crazy person, would you rather face a crazy person with a gun or a crazy person with a knife? A gun is what's called a force amplifier. And as force amplifiers go, guns are pretty good. This is why we give the army guns, because no sane person would say, yeah, but if we didn't give them guns, they would just find another way of doing the killing.
I mean, this was a psychotic episode brought on by hallucinogens and a pre-existing mental condition. If it wasn't a gun, he might have grabbed something else. So you can't really argue the anti-gun narrative here.
We give them guns because the guns are the best force amplifier. So yeah, if you want to remove a force amplifier from crazy people, that does entail that you've got to do things like background checks on people. So this skeptical feminist shooting was probably an unfortunate tragedy of someone who probably wasn't all with it. So how did YouTube's skeptical community deal with this?
Well, a feminist got triggered.
Yeah. For the final time. For the last
time.
time.
Not too soon, crowd. As I said before, like too soon is literally 5 seconds before it happens. That's when it's too soon.
So as well. But I want to say, can I praise the shooter really quick?
The sort of area of the internet that we inhabit tends to be populated by people who do have high expectations of these content creators, and I think that's probably the one thing that really unites everyone in what could be called the skeptic community is.
So as well. But I want to say, can I praise the shooter really quick? Can I just say that at least he didn't take any shit? Is it too soon to say that?
He wasn't a cock, yeah.
Sorry guys, but if your response to an unbalanced guy picking up a gun and blowing away an innocent girl is joking about it before the body's even cool, fuck that. I want nothing to do with any of you. You've hit the point where you've been pretending to be shitlords for so long that you've become them in reality.
Yeah, he's the new alt-right poster boy, Elliot Rodgers.
Yes,
that'll be on his tombstone.
Alt-right?
No,
at least that was alt-right.
At least he wasn't a cuck.
You're now at the Westboro Baptist Church type levels, where dead people are just an ideological tool for you to exploit to push your narrative. I mean, who cares about the details? Let's make memes about the dead innocent girl before they've even cleaned the blood off the sidewalk.
I just mentioned that I did a quick scientific poll in the chat here. I asked people to press 1 if they think it's not too soon to make the skeptic feminist murder memes. And I have to say, the ones have it.
And damn, this came hard on the heels of Crowton T's video where he berated social justice warriors, and quite rightly so, for making fun of my dad when he was dying of cancer while he was actually on his deathbed. And yeah, he was right. That was fucked up beyond all recognition. I mean, you just go out and ask some random guy in the street what they think about that sort of action, and you'll get something that goes along the lines of, if someone tried that shit with me, they'd be lucky to not end up dead, because that's the sort of response you would expect to get from mocking someone because their dad was dying of cancer. It's fucked up beyond all recognition.
I'd like to proceed to give you examples of wrongdoings by the social justice community, actions which directly show their ill intentions and intent to harm people, and more importantly to outline how this group of people has consistently displayed and endorsed the very bankrupt behavior that they themselves have so frequently proclaimed to be against. And maybe after doing so, Spinosaurus Kin, Creationist Cat and Co. can explain to us why they believe these people are still somehow worth engaging with, let alone siding with.
And yet here he is, laughing away with the rest of them because a jerk got high and shot and killed a woman.
In Soviet Russia, feminist shoots woman.
Funny because
Well, I think at the very least, we probably won't see many more videos from his channel.
guys.
Like you said earlier,
So,
people expect a higher level of ethics in this community.
Thank you.
Or
know what I
please
think?
tell me you're monetizing this and that you're making shekels from this.
Of course I am. But you know what's going to be
I'm gonna drop out and work on my video.
okay.
Thanks for this chat. V, I hope you fucking monetize this and make some shekels from it. I'll talk to you guys later, hopefully. See ya.
See you later,
Bye.
man.
And maybe after doing so, Spinosaurus Kin, Creationist Cat and Co. can explain to us why they believe these people are still somehow worth engaging with, let alone siding with.
Now, the last time I watched one of Sargon of Akkad's videos, he was going on about fighting the culture war.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's tough life, man. When you've got fucking 500,000 subscribers and you're fighting like this culture war. But yeah, what I was doing with the Skeptic Community video was just trying to suggest to people, look, we don't need to cannibalize our own, because that's what the SJWs do. Basically, I think that I'm worried about the cohesion of the community. I think that's what I'm worried about, because when you get like, one of the problems in Gamergate was the GG Revolt guys, who were constantly trying to put an autistic wrench into everything. They were trying to insert this into everything, even when it wasn't necessary. And that's something that I found personally annoying, but also I think it had a detrimental effect on the efficacy of what was going on.
Yeah. Okay.
The other thing is too is that ultimately, even with issues with PTSD, if he did actually have serious mental concerns, you know, it's on him to actually go through the process of trying to seek
And
help.
maybe
for
not
that.
to live with two women in a very strange love triangle.
Right.
between
But like you said with the candid stuff, you do understand that there is, and as this commenter points, a certain zeitgeist in the shared audience that we have among the people we're talking about, who expect a higher standard of ethics. You can see the end result of allowing this kind of autism to manifest and spread. But it's just something, an idea I want to filter down to people that's I've noticed, and I'm looking at it in other communities, and you can see these like huge fucking rifts. And
Dude, you're one of the biggest figures in this community of yours. Arguably the biggest, getting about twice the traffic that my channel does. Preaching about higher ethical moral standards, while callously using a tragic shooting to push an agenda before the body was even cold. Yeah, I don't know what sort of community you want to lead here, but I want nothing to do with it. And I would say, sure, not everyone in the skeptical community has jumped up and down and rubbed their hands with glee over this tragedy. Mundane Matt, the amazing atheist, and Bearing all managed to tackle this issue with some degree of tact.
This is a person who is dealing with mental issues and on hallucinogens, and those two do not mix well. It's one of those situations where Alexander was in the military, he suffered PTSD, and that's something that he should have got proper counseling for.
However, when you have a critical mass that you can fill a room full of prominent YouTubers in the skeptical community who all see this shooting as a great point-scoring exercise.
I mean, a lot of this is done for point scoring purposes now. You know, people are like, yeah, I got one over you. And you know, that's fine. If you want to do that, that's, yeah, exactly. It's your choice. But it's hardly a constructive
Should
use
they,
of people's times.
is it more constructive to post interracial gay porn at people?
Oh, yeah. Way more. No, not at all. Not at all.
So why do you care what people
If I was worried about that, do you think I'd spam gay porn?
That community is rotten and toxic. Hell, if this had been social justice warriors who were doing this exact thing. You know, just looking at a tragic shooting and using it as a cheap point-scoring exercise. Before the body was even cold. This would have simply been branded as autistic due to the lack of normal human emotional understanding.
You can see the end result of allowing this kind of autism to manifest and spread. You know, people who otherwise didn't give a shit about people, who are now like, or even in favor of them, who are now just like they're their worst enemy. And I'm just looking at that thinking, Christ, you know.
Why is that? What's that a problem for?
Well, it generally is the signal of the death of that community.
Well, ironically, it was exactly that sort of militarization that took social justice, which in and of itself is a fairly benign concept, and got the warriors to fight the war. And it was that radicalization that took it to this giant pool of crazies that it now is. Like I say, I've seen this all before. And the way that he would also accuse people of being autistic because they couldn't relate to normal human emotions.
Well, yeah, there's always a certain autistic fringe who keep going on about things, isn't there?
And where has this culture war brought them? What do these culture warriors look like?
Violent tendencies, but he may have had a PTSD-related episode.
Ooh, that sounds really horrible.
I've asked if she can come on the stream, but she can't at the moment, unfortunately.
Jesus Christ, that sounds really fucking horrible.
Well, now you ruined the fun of it, Rosalvo. Couldn't you hold this till the end?
Okay, so he got triggered.
I bet you ruined the fun of it.
Get triggered, yeah.
Hold on. I think he's killed two things with this murder: a human and a channel.
No. I think the channel would.
I guess that's just my personal preference. I would just rather see something that was more level-headed than like just angry people trying to get a rise out of each other. Necessarily, it's not very productive. And like I said, I mean, there are definite effects coming from what we're doing. So I don't know. It's just a thought. It's just a thought.
Okay. You know why I love the internet? We get to look at this through a lens of a little bit of humor. Because if you were to be confronted with something like that, you wouldn't be in the position to make even a small fucking joke.
Through the lens of humor while the bodies are still warm.
Yeah, come and join the skeptic community where we make fun of people who die in tragic gun-related shootings and are proud to use it to push our narrative. That's why people take us so seriously. Yeah, I'm sure to you and your friends, this was great. I mean, you're shitlords. You don't care what people think. You're fighting the culture war with memes.
Do you know who else probably isn't going to get off easy?
Who?
Russian Deadpool.
The Russian guy.
If people enjoy a certain kind of community, don't sit there and be autistic about it, because you'll end up destroying it.
Where in reality, you're preaching to the converted, the increasingly vitriolic radical warriors in a bubble. Seriously, I'll leave the link for this hangout below, and you judge for yourself. When you're mocking a dead girl before the body's even been identified, you're not fighting any culture war. Seriously, how many minds do you think you're going to change with arguments like this?
Look, compare it. A murder in real life involving a YouTuber or the death of Pepe in a video game. Come on.
Exactly.
Which one's more important?
Exactly.
I think we know the answer.
Get your priorities straight.
Hell, I'm not saying I'm any saint here. I'm no paragon of virtue. But what I am saying is, if your idea of fighting a culture war is proud of being Westboro Baptist Church on steroids, I want nothing to do with you. Just like I wanted nothing to do with Reason Rally rationalists or angry vagina atheists. Hell, the guy who did the shooting was a president of an atheist society. Yet the religious right have been pushing this 1/10 as hard as your effort to push the narrative that this shooting was because he was a feminist. And when you're making the religious right look like moderates, you might want to take a little time for some introspection. The more so when in your exact hangout you give a description of the social justice warriors and how immoral they are. And that exact description is almost a perfect description of the way you are currently acting.
And it's just like, these people are at this point are just predictable. They're just so predictable.
Well, they don't have any
And if you
other
look at
answers, do they? That's the thing.
No, and the thing is, if you look at these different outlets at this point, it's just a clear litmus test to who's who. If you start using, if you use certain words, if you use certain arguments, you're not coming up with anything original. You're just repeating someone else's talking points. Yeah. And in the end, it's just to suit your own political agenda. Anyways, the takeaway from your video, Kraut, that I had is that, the actions that we see on the other side, and this is very much true from what I've seen, we wouldn't tolerate this in any way.
No.
I mean,
saying like all of the SJWs are guilty. Like, yeah, if you're not going to at least talk about it and what's inside your community, then yeah, I think you're forming ranks, and I do think I'm not going to engage with you. And it's my choice what I want to engage with.
There's no denying that there is a community, and I don't see the point of unnecessarily antagonizing people and disrespecting people within that community. If you want to, and you want to be on the outside of it, that's fine. That's
don't disrespect people within that community, but what the people outside it's different.
I think
and with those levels of hypocrisy and these sorts of actions are why I want to make it very clear that I want nothing to do with this community. I really don't care how they retrospectively try to justify this. Like we use tabloid in the title. Therefore, everything that we said was okay.
So a feminist fighting for women's rights had her dead to rights.
Thank you, V, for tabloiding it up for us.
Oh, what did you expect? But
she just wasn't feminist enough.
Fucking Christ. What is it with male feminists? I swear to God.
Yeah, like if Kevin Logan had said, yeah, but when I mocked Thunderfoot's dad dying of cancer, I put in the video title that it was a tabloid discussion of Thunderfoot's dad dying of cancer, or call it gallows humor or dark humor or whatever. Sorry, that does nothing. It's just fucked up beyond all recognition.
Like you said earlier, people expect a higher level of ethics in this community.
And I don't care for any apologies that may come after. Because, dude, it's clear from this stream that they were loving every second of it.
One thing we have to say, that the SJWs are going to fucking spawn over the stream that we're having right now.
That's what I said. I don't care.
Apologizing at this point isn't so much as saying sorry about what you did, but sorry that you got caught. Either way, if that's your community, and that's the culture that you want to fight a war over, I want nothing to do with it.